Hello besties, I'm back with even more opinions for you, and yes, maybe you won't like hearing what I have to say, maybe they will make you hate me and you will decide to unsubscribe. You're totally free to do that, and it's totally fine if you disagree with me on everything. You can let me know what you think in the comments. That's all I have to say. Now we can just get into the video and begin. I'm kinda happy IZ*ONE disbanded. Okay, maybe happy isn't the right word because it's not like I'm happy knowing IZ*ONE as a whole won't exist anymore, and I'm not happy if I think about how much pain their whole disbandment must have caused the girls. But on the other hand, I'm actually kinda glad they went their separate ways. There were just some members that never got to shine while being in IZ*ONE. Now let's not lie, who could have known Haewon had such pretty vocals? If she never came out with some solo music that complemented her vocal color, she would have been stuck singing only a couple of seconds in IZ*ONE songs that definitely didn't do her voice any justice. Another example is Yoojin, whose skills were very much hidden in IZ*ONE since she didn't get many chances to show just how amazing of a vocalist and how good of a dancer she was. Another member is Wonyoung, that was kinda forced to sing in a very high-pitched and baby-like voice since that was what fitted IZ*ONE's concept the best. And then I'm thinking about Hitomi and Nako, who got very little exposure in IZ*ONE and now they're the current centers of AKB and HKT. I just think that all of the girls can now have a better chance at showcasing what they've got and doing what fits them the best, both concept and sound-wise. Not to mention, if IZ*ONE didn't disband, we would have never been able to hear IVE, Yuri, Yina, Eunbi, and Lee Seraphim's great discographies, and my alts, IVE, wouldn't even exist. So yeah, even if I sometimes miss IZ*ONE, I'm overall kinda happy the girls went their separate ways. I lost all my respect for Orbitz after Queendom. It sucks because I love Luna. I even used to defend Orbitz because I thought many people just perceived them as a worse fandom than they actually were. But I don't know what to think anymore. The way they're moving after Luna lost on Queendom is so fucking annoying and extremely unserious. How in the world can they possibly think Mnet rigged the show to favor a Starship group when Mnet and Starship have had beef with each other ever since Monster X refused to participate on Kingdom? Mnet has been doing Starship's artists dirty since then, and you're telling me that they favored WJSN? Mnet wouldn't be so stupid to rig a show again after they've been exposed for rigging all of the produce seasons. Nobody trusts them anymore, and the last thing they would do is risking once again by rigging Queendom. Not to mention that if they really wanted to take the risk and rig it, then they would have done it to favor Kepler, which is literally a group formed by an Mnet show. But they would have never rigged it for a Starship group. I'm sorry if Orbitz just perceived WJSN as a new group. They're not. They have the biggest domestic fanbase out of all of the artists that participated in Queendom 2, and their international fanbase is pretty big too, considering China literally loves them. WJSN's fandom is not only big but also very organized, as it has existed for years and years, so no wonder they were able to take their faves to the top. WJSN has always been one of the artists most likely to win Queendom 2. Even before the show started, we all knew they were a really strong contender for the #1 spot, so stop acting as if there was no way they could have won if it wasn't for Mnet rigging the results. As someone that stands both Luna and WJSN, I had no preference between the two, and I would have been happy with either of them winning. WJSN just so happened to take the crown, and I get Orbitz being sad and disappointed, but they're straight up being assholes, making up shit about Mnet rigging the show. Orbitz are such bad losers, it's ridiculous. Don't even try to deny company privilege. Stop being so unserious. Do you seriously think that, for example, Red Velvet would have been this popular if they weren't from SM? Or do you think that TXT would have been this famous if they weren't from Big Hit? If you think they would have been just as famous, then you're straight up lying to yourself and to everyone. Both of the groups I mentioned are just examples, and I could have named any other group. Both Red Velvet and TXT are extremely talented and deserving of their success. But some groups just get so famous even before debuting, and this just happens because of the company they're from. Every group from a big company has earned their fame and success thanks to their talents and hard work, thanks to their personalities and music. But you cannot tell me they would have had a big fandom even before debuting if they weren't from big companies. Every group that has a famous senior is gonna receive some level of attention, and that's normal. Company privilege is normal. It's not degrading admitting your faves received some sort of privilege from the beginning. It's not an insult, especially because before debuting in big companies, the members worked hard as trainees and faced a lot of competition. There's nothing wrong in admitting company privilege is a thing, and receiving company privilege is not a crime. It's just the way it is, and I don't get why some fans make such a big deal out of it and do mental gymnastics to deny the obvious. Fun fact, aespa isn't the only K-pop group that lip-syncs. Shocking, am I right? I think it's surely shocking for some of you, considering you're acting as if they were literally the only ones who lip-sync in the entire industry. I'm sorry, but there are just so many groups that do it too, yet you mainly complain when aespa does it. With that, I'm not saying you should be complaining about other groups as well, because at the end of the day you know if someone can sing or not, even if they're lip-syncing, so there's no need to drag anyone. It's just that it baffles me how everyone is ganging up on aespa, and the fact they lip-sync becomes the #1 topic in K-pop, and people start talking about it more than they would talk about a real scandal. Many groups that have very talented vocalists lip-sync. Many groups that have showcased their beautiful live vocals many times sometimes lip-sync. aespa is one of the many groups. So why is it that you're making it seem as if aespa was the only group to do this? It's just ridiculous how aespa are 4th gen's punching bag. I don't stan them, but even I get pissed about this unjustified hate and constant criticism they receive. What have these girls done to you? Problematic idols can still be very talented. Some idols are problematic and have done bad things in their lives, and as soon as their wrongdoings get exposed, so many people just start discrediting everything about them, even their talents. I'm sorry, but there's nothing wrong in admitting that an awful person can still be talented. There's no need to lie and call them useless and talentless when they're not. They might be bad people, but you can still acknowledge that they're good singers or good dancers, or that they're very good at writing lyrics and things like that. As crazy as it may sound to some of you, being mean and being talented are two things that can totally coexist. The Produce franchise should continue. There are rumors about Mnet gearing up for a new season of Produce, and to be completely honest, I'm happy about it. I do like watching survival shows, and whether you like it or not, survival shows will always be a thing, with or without the Produce franchise. Most survival shows, if not all, have evil editing and some sort of psychological manipulation that's gonna make a lot of viewers side with certain contestants and be against others. Produce is not the only one, and just because the previous seasons have been rigged, it doesn't mean the future ones will too. The whole team behind the previous seasons has been removed, and some of them are currently in jail. So with a brand new team, I'm sure things will not be rigged. Mnet has already shown us they won't risk rigging anything, just like Girls Planet. Of course there was a lot of evil editing, but no rigging. Mnet couldn't possibly be so stupid to rig something now that they have everyone's eyes on them. I just think that at least groups that come out of the Produce series are gonna be very big and successful. Something that doesn't always happen with other survival shows that end up producing groups that never get the fame they deserve. So instead of having more survival shows like these that give birth to groups that will never be that big, I would really prefer for the Produce franchise to continue, so that more and more trainees will have a chance to make themselves known to the world and debut, most likely having a successful path ahead of them. Some company stans are ridiculous. There are two types of company stans. One type just happens to enjoy one or more groups from the same company, and when the company debuts new groups they are supportive and check them out, maybe even ending up standing them if they enjoy their music and content. But the second type of company stans is quite ridiculous in my opinions. These types of stan literally force themselves to like a new group just because they're their faves juniors, and even if they don't actually like the group that much, they still brainwash themselves into thinking they love them. This type of company stan will blindly stan anyone that is part of the company just because their faves are also under that company, when they probably wouldn't have given a fuck about those groups if they debuted under another agency. The bad kind of company stan supports every decision the company makes, and it's almost like they're stanning the company itself instead of just the artists. If the company does something shitty and gets called out, some company stans do everything to defend it just because they don't want to see any sort of criticism being thrown at their alt group's company, and I just think this is extremely stupid because companies are all the same, even if some are worse than others. In the end, they all care about money the most, and I can't believe some stans are trying to make some of these companies look good when in reality they're just like everyone else. You know, you can just stan the artists without also standing the company. Group and company are two separate entities, but some of you don't seem to realize that. Every idol likes receiving attention, your faves included. I often hear people saying, "Oh my god, this idol is showing off too much. This idol is cocky. This idol is such an attention seeker. They're so narcissistic," and things like that. Obviously, being overly confident is not a good thing, especially if taken to the extreme. But every idol must like receiving attention, at least in part. Let's be honest. If you're willing to put your face out there and have it on the magazines, on TV, or having your voice on the radio and your pictures on the internet, then you cannot tell me you don't want any attention. Otherwise you wouldn't be an idol. And this also goes for those idols that are usually quite shy and modest. They just wouldn't be idols if they didn't like having other people looking at them. Being in the entertainment industry means being watched and followed by other people. If you hated having the attention on you, you would do another job. So yeah, every idol wants attention. Some idols more than others. And this is perfectly okay, obviously, as long as it's not taken to the extreme. But most idols never cross the line and just genuinely love being in the spotlight, which is not a bad thing, and stans should stop labeling every idol they don't like as a cocky narcissist, because this drag just doesn't make sense. Well, this was it. Thanks for watching till the end and listening to what I had to say. Maybe some of the opinions made you wanna unsubscribe, or maybe you actually ended up agreeing with me. Who knows? If you liked this video, then please give it a like. See you in the next video. Bye guys.